a short video on explaining making book cover artwork. One of the simplest forms of artwork out there, but could also be, manipulated into something more complicated. You can go anywhere with this stuff. This is a very versatile, wide landscape type of artwork that basically keeps you in your seat with just a description that describes the front cover of a book, and then you would design it to size for the print shop to have it printed on a book. Now this can begin as just a quick Photoshop artwork, and by quick I mean a few hours. And from there you can work with the writer of the book and the printer of the book, which are usually two separate individuals. The print shop would have you make it to scale and the right DPI for their printers, and then you can get paid for making book cover artwork. A long time ago, in a galaxy far away, I went to Staples and bought a super cheap, on sale, used, beat up box of Photoshop CS3, which is an art program that I've been using since then. I think it was before 2012. So it's pretty ancient. It still works. It's amazing. I love it. On this Photoshop program, I do a lot of different artwork, pretty much everything. Photographs, text, animated 3D even, or 2D artwork, comic strip. I've even done some 2D animation on the Photoshop, and have created basic ideas for storyboarding and 3D image manipulation, all kinds of cool stuff on this CS3. As for book covers, which is one of the simplest things I was told to put on my art portfolio, was to just create some book covers. And book covers could be any kind of artwork for any kind of story. The person who writes the story is the one that decides what's on the book cover. Usually, other times, it is the person that's helping them publish the book, and they would hire out an artist to create the artwork. And this is where I could come in and make book cover artwork. So I've been working on my background scenes and other basic, simple artwork. Book covers can be very detailed, also realistic, even photographs placed on the book covers and printed in that fashion. And so it's a wide open landscape of possibilities. It depends on the writer and what they want on the book cover. So here's just an example of a cityscape. You could almost see Hey Arnold running across in front of the buildings or something funny, chased by Gerald. So I've just got a cute pink background, the sun somewhere up in the top right corner. There's only one light on in this yellow building. The rest of them are blue. This is completely changeable. This is your basic book cover background scene of something simple. And so I picked buildings with a road and sky, and maybe it's rained, so there's some puddles on the road. And this just shows how simple it can be. Some people just want a simple 2D flat cartoon-like book cover, and that's it. And you can get paid for that. They don't want to pay you a ton. They don't want you to do a ton of detail, and you want to have your name and your resume filling up with experiences. So this is one way to do it. Unfortunately, the internet has ruined many book selling abilities. So people who write books are mostly writing stuff that's online, and people don't actually sit down and read books anymore. And that's unfortunate. I mean, I would love to do the book cover artwork. So in this image for what I've titled book title to, and then you would put the basic author's name. So the writer of the book could look at this and be like, I love it, or change this, or put my title somewhere else with my name underneath it or above it or whatever they wanted to do. And then you would have all these pages and folders ready in CS3 or whatever Photoshop you have, probably the most recent version, of course. And you could obviously make changes according to what the artist wanted or the writer wanted. So this is a kind of a field with a creek, stream, old broken fence, and some clouds, the sun. And this is more of a closer to a 3D-like or lifelike art. This is still 2D, obviously. It's not fully 3D, but I did take advantage of some of the Photoshop texture packets, and so that was kind of fun. So in this cute little image, I have like an old school Japanese sky back there, almost like the clouds are pink and silver lined or something. And the creek is just somewhere out in front, and what you have is some rolling hills and valleys or so, and a lot of grass up front. For the next book cover idea, I played a little scenario with a potential customer, and say they wanted to write a murder mystery that one of the members that had gone on vacation died or was missing. And so how would I display that without showing the character itself? And how would I show that they were on vacation and they were by the lakeside and it was sunny out and they loved sitting in a chair? Okay, so my first idea would have been to put the chair underwater, and kind of like the person who loved the chair is somewhere underwater or missing, can't be seen, but still in the place that they loved. Okay, so the oceanside trip, let's say that's the title. The author would be titled underneath it in smaller text. Let's say I turn this into the potential writer. They have some issues with it. They kind of like the idea, but they want some changes. So this is where you would start with something and then basically jump through a bunch of hoops and make it look like what they want. Besides, size it correctly. And the next image is modified it just a little bit so the sand is more visible. Let's say the person who won the artwork wanted the sand more visible, so I send that in. Okay, now I know in my head this is not a finished artwork because they only mentioned one thing and they didn't say it's perfect, it's good, send it to me, it's done. So the next modification would be, well, the water's too bright and cheery, maybe darken it. Okay, so then we go to a darker pattern. And then the next situation is, can you make the waves move a little bit? Maybe they're not in the right spot, kind of shift them up there. Okay, so I send that in. And that's how this goes. Well, now the next one, oh, I don't want to see that much of the under of the lake. I don't want to see that much. Make the chair a little softer plastic, like it's been down there a little while. Maybe the person's missing relative has been there for a while. Then the next image is, well, aren't most of those chairs made of wood? Okay, so we go to some wood red color. Maybe this chair is made of wood. That's why it sinks. It's not made of plastic. The next image is, well, I liked it blue, and I don't want to see that much of the ocean or the lake floor. And can you change this and change that? Okay. So then the next image, and this is like image number 8, I want the sand a little more visible, a little smoother, and let's put some bubbles here and there. Let the water be brighter. Yes, for the next image, I need brighter water. Okay, so I make brighter water, send it in. Okay, and you know what? The water's too bright. Make it a little bit bluer. Okay, I do that. I send it in. This is how this goes. Water's too bright. Make it darker. And I'd like my author's name right here, starting at the N under ocean and going to just about the R. Okay, so we do that. Okay. Next one. Okay, there's way too many shiny lens flares. It took me 10 years to look up and tell you I didn't want those rainbow stakes poking out of the sand. Oh, I'm like, oh, okay, lens flares. Yeah, get rid of those and do a little this and that. Okay, so the next image is no lens flares. Bubbles, blue plastic chair, somewhat visible sand, somewhat light water, the sun's still out there, and change the book title, move it a little bit. I don't want it straight at the top. No lines in the pink sky. So here goes. Then the next image, which would have been 14, but you know how that goes. I don't want to see any of the white wavy lines. That looks like I'm still looking at the top of the water. Okay, so take away the white wavy lines that are below the surface of the water. That makes sense. I can see why they'd want that. And the next image, I still see too much of the bottom of the sand line. I don't want to see that. Just put a little bit of sand down there. Okay, so here we go. And make the water in the background a little more still. And oh, the next image, can you darken the water on top so underneath the water looks cold? Okay, so then finally the last image. You know what? Just turn the chair purple, make everything a really tropical, this or that color, teal. Put some lens flares back in there. Make the title this cursive. And I'm changing the whole scenery from the lake to the ocean side somewhere in Hawaii. Oh, jeez. And that's how this goes. So when you're making book title artwork, sometimes it gets a little confusing. Sometimes you're making a whole bunch of changes and it seems like you're going nowhere. But if you just remember what the artist is asking for and show them before and afters, just keep it simple changes, you can hopefully arrive at an agreement to the book title cover artwork. And that's what you want. You want that. You want to keep it cool and not get mad. And no matter how many changes, it might be frustrating. If you get frustrated, go find a punching bag, come back and be a normal person. Even if the person on the other line, either text, email, or phone call is a little bit irritating. But this is art. This is how this goes.